If a man is often doing things for his mother, it will mean that a lot of his time and attention will be spent on her. As a result of this, she is going to receive a lot of his life force or energy. Naturally, the energy that he directs towards his mother is going to be energy that he won't have to direct to his own life. If he had an endless amount of energy, this wouldn't matter, but he doesn't. One way to imagine what is taking place would be to pretend that both his mother and himself have a house. His mother's house will be coming along nicely, whilst his own house is going to be in a heavily neglected state. For this to change, he will need to spend less time working on his mother's house and more time working on his own. If this doesn't happen sooner or later, his own house could practically collapse. The trouble, of course, is that if a man is behaving in this way, he might not be consciously aware of how out of balance he is. He is then going to be neglecting his own life, his own house, but he won't be able to do anything about it. When it comes to his own life, then, he might have a job that is not very fulfilling, or a job that is fulfilling, but he might not have been able to make much progress. As for his relationships, he might not have any close friends or be in an intimate relationship. But even if he is not aware of what is going on, it doesn't mean that he won't have moments when he feels very low. If he is not aware of what is going on, he won't be able to join the dots though and change his life. During these moments, he could end up consuming something or engaging in some kind of activity that will change his inner state for a short while. This will merely be a temporary solution, and it could mean that he is addicted to something that is having a destructive effect on him. If he was to believe that he suffers from depression, he could end up being put on medication. Yet, as so much of his energy is going towards his mother and his own life is being neglected and is thus not fulfilling, how else would he be? The only way that he would be any different would be if his brain was able to keep his true feelings at bay, and he could be totally in denial. This way, he would be able to live in an inauthentic manner and still be happy. And he may even have moments when he is like this. The ideal will be for him to wake up before his life has totally collapsed. And this could be what is needed for him to see the light, so to speak. For example, he could have a breakup, a serious illness, or a breakdown. As to why something so severe could be needed is because of how caught up he is likely to be in his mother's world. He won't be in an altered state through having taken drugs, but it can be as though he is, and this prevents him from facing reality. What is likely to be fueling his need to behave in this way and avoid facing reality is likely to be the pain that he is carrying. So, if he was to see clearly and stop behaving like he is an extension of his mother, he is likely to come into contact with a lot of pain. Ergo, he is not consciously choosing to direct a lot of his energy toward his mother and neglect himself. This is something that is automatically taking place. Most likely, he was forced to behave in this way as a child in order to survive. During his formative years, his mother may have largely used him to meet some of her adult and unmet childhood needs. Consequently, he would have been deprived of the nutrients that he needed to grow and develop in the right way, and ended up being deeply traumatized in the process. Throughout this stage of his life, he is likely to have been regularly punished and disapproved of, and rejected and abandoned. He would then have been born in an enmeshed and dependent state, and as he missed out on so much, he would have continued to be this way. Deep down, he is going to believe that he either focuses on his mother and gives her his energy and survives, or he focuses on his own life and has most of his energy and dies. This is due to the level of development that he currently has. he is going to be in an emotionally underdeveloped state. If he had received the right nutrients, he would have been able to grow out of this stage and become an interdependent human being. As this didn't happen, his physical and mental self grew, but his emotional self didn't. His brain and body are likely to be carrying a lot of pain and arousal, and this will need to be gradually worked through. This is something that will take courage and patience and persistence. If he was to face all this pain and arousal in one go, it is likely to be too much for him to handle. By doing this, he will slowly be able to emotionally grow up and feel comfortable directing most of his energy toward his own life. If you're a man and you can relate to this, if you can see that most of your energy, your life force, is being directed towards your mother, and this is then causing your own house, your own palace to be heavily neglected, and perhaps you don't have much of a life yourself, then it will be vital for you to start to direct more of your energy towards yourself, towards your own being. And to do this, there will be what you can consciously do. So by making a choice to change your focus, and there will be what you need to do to work through your pain and arousal, because all the time you are carrying this pain, you will have this compulsion, most likely, as you will probably know, to be there for your mother. And even if you're not doing things for her, then you can find that a lot of your attention is just being directed towards her. So you may need to reach out for external support, and I've written a how-to guide that you may know about that will direct you through the process of implementing boundaries and going through the individuation process so you can start to focus more on yourself. So that is an option, but the main thing is that you don't continue to neglect yourself, to abandon yourself, to betray yourself, because this happened early on, but you don't need to do this now. So reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually change your life. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.